There's 8 of us. Zac was the youngest. He was the baby, he came after Naomi. When he was born, the doctor said that he had sickle cell disease. He was really small. They said he was several years behind what his growth should have been. We used to share a room, and when we'd go to sleep, I would like hold him, because I'm a bit weird, but I would I'd be afraid that something would happen to him. Because he was so small, I think he felt he had to be a bit louder. That was why he was so outgoing, and that's why he was so, like he had something to prove.
He was more confident than me. He can speak in front of like a group of people without getting nervous, whereas I'm kind of nervous speaking in front of like 5 people.
We both like doing characters, like in our family, that's what we're known for. We just do silly characters.
That's my brother! Straight!
Zac was really close to our dad. It's predominantly females in the house, so they kind of had that bond where it was, you know, the 2 boys against us. Zac was about 10 years old when my dad died.
My mom came in and she was like, no. And my mom was, I've never seen her in the state that she was in before. But I kept wanting somebody just to wake me up to tell me that it was only a dream. And I'm still wishing that now at this moment in time.
I kind of neglected talking to him at the time. I kind of had to be like, obviously the man of the house and just be strong for my mum and stuff like that, so I kind of neglected talking to him about the most important thing. He just probably wanted his big brother to be there to say, you know what, everything's going to be all right, and I wasn't there for him. Young black boys need a male figure, and sometimes if he ain't getting it at home, then he's going to get it somewhere else.
Zac started having problems in school. We kind of felt that he was getting in with people that were having a bad effect or a bad influence.
At that time in secondary school, when girls are in your mind, the more you're in with that crowd, the more girls start to notice you, because nowadays it's not cool to be smart. It's cool to be, you know, like an outlaw.
The school weren't happy that he was always getting into trouble, and they said that he'd need to go to a pupil referral unit, which I think Park Campus is. Yeah, and that's how he ended up there.
Zac was a bubbly character, certainly a larger-than-life personality. You know, he was well-liked. You know, he could be very respectful, but he could also be quite rude.
His behaviour was reflective of his emotional state at the time that he came to us. He probably hadn't processed the bereavement of his father, and his behaviour was reflective of that. Mainly
the challenges were around verbal defiance. There were no issues, as we saw it, in terms of Zac being physical towards pupils, towards staff. However, we got to know that he was involved in some gang activity.
For Zac, living in Tulse Hill, there was a lot that came with that. Like many inner city areas, there was gang activity there. For a lot of the guys, they don't first and foremost see themselves as gang, they see themselves as family. You know, for someone like Zac, he grew up in the area, went to school with boys in the area. Whether he would have intentionally done so or not, he would have had an association with what was known to be a gang.
The young people here are from different areas of Lambeth, different gang areas, and they come together here as a school community.
Tensions were known about. We didn't expect it to be something that came to our doorstep.
Fuck it, Ensign, this is Brick City, where we make up a dial in the knee.
Were you aware of the gas gang?
Yes, I was aware of gas, and I was aware of TN1. And I knew that Zac was involved with TN1. I was aware of the rivalry between TN1 and the gas gang. And, you know, is it turf rivalry? Is it about the amount of money they make? Is it about... what is it about?
Gun stabbing, blood smashing, gang banging.
I think it's very much about areas. Certain people from certain areas feel like that's their area, that's their territory, and you can't come into it.
This is my life. From there's no line, you can get touched just before...
Those guys upload those videos almost like a dog marking its territory. This is who we are, this is where we're repping. Anyone can go onto YouTube right now and see the gas gang parading themselves in Brixton talking about their exploits. And they will cuss, send for, abuse other areas. Think about the irony of this. You've got these guys on the World Wide Web, and what are they doing? Yeah, W this, SE this, / whatever, blah, blah. They're stuck in their postcode on the World Wide Web. But the problem is these guys get a full sense of security from the ease by which they can put themselves forward on YouTube. They can jump in front of a guy with a phone and you're with your boys. You're with them and them. And so you feel protected, you feel like, yeah, and it's safe. But they forget that even just getting their face in YouTube videos marks them as an associated individual with that particular gang at that particular area. And so they don't have to have done anything to anyone. People will test them. People will come after them because their face is known, their face is bait.
There were times when Zac was afraid to go to Brixton, and we lived down the road from Brixton. We lived 10 minutes away from Brixton, and we thought, well, we didn't grow up like that. We don't want him to grow up like that, where he can't go 10 minutes down the road without fear of somebody attacking him, and he was scared. So my mum was like, no, we can't live like this. I'm not going to let my son live like this, because what if someone does attack him, you know?
Zac wanted to break away from that involvement in a gang. And he was crying out for help. Zac wanted an out. We were working to support him. And as far as we were concerned, he was making really, really good progress in that.
Zac turned a corner. He had an aim, which was to get back into mainstream school, and Zac was quite clear about that.
Hello, John.
He got involved at a conference that organised by the London Serious Youth Violence Board. He spoke to an audience of 120 professionals, and he was very good at explaining what he wanted and how he was going about leaving or getting away from what he got into.
Prison's not a nice place, you know. But I really don't want to go there, but stuff that was happening, I was looking to keep going that way. But now, we look so, hopefully I won't be going that way.
Just to give people an idea here, what do you feel the risks are, just on a daily basis of serious violence in the world that you live in?
Daily basis, get stabbed, shot, died, school day, anytime.
My little brother went to school that morning. He was where he should have been, at school. And these boys came in a car.
I was in my office and I heard some screaming and shouting. I quickly went along to the foyer where there was a lot more screaming and shouting. There were kids running in different directions. So something was wrong. Something was very wrong. I heard shouts of, "They've got knives."
My team was on call for the whole of South London.
We took the call in the office to say that there'd been a stabbing down at Park campus.
We made our way there immediately.
That is an image of the front of the school, and that is one of our students being attacked by a man with a knife.
That boy was not an intended target of the gang, and he was only stabbed because he was there in the immediate vicinity.
That's horrible. It's one of our members of staff who sees what's happening and tries to stop what's going on. I immediately ran outside to try and find out what was happening. There was panic among the students, and it seemed to be coming from the road opposite.
That's footage of Zac being pursued along the street. He's actually fled from the safety of the school.
That's quite amazing footage. I haven't seen that footage. Clearly you see Zac chased by 2, 3, 4. Scary in a way. They're chasing like you chase an animal. They were on a mission, weren't they?
Within seconds of that footage ending, Zac was pursued into a back garden.
It was a horrific a scream. A green Nissan car screamed round the corner. I managed to get over the road to where I found Zac was lying on the floor. His eyes were open, but he didn't look conscious. I bent down and just very, very lightly placed my hand on Zac's chest, and I couldn't feel a heartbeat. I could feel myself going into shock, very distant, very displaced. I just said a little prayer, to be honest.
I was sleeping. I heard the phone ring. My mum was downstairs. She screamed, and it was a scream where it was like, a scream that comes from, like really deep down inside.
I was at work. I just thought, okay, he's been stabbed, that's bad, I need to go. But I didn't think it was serious. I thought, okay, let me call him. It was just ringing, and then I started getting scared, and then I called him again, and it was just ringing.
I quickly put on some clothes, and I put on my shoes, and I ran with my mum to the school.